All right, here we go again. What I'm doing here is I'm trying to look to see if I can get this on my Truth account live streaming. So we'll see where we are. If I click on it, what does it do? Okay, it does take me to a screen. I was trying to get it to to go live on Truth. Let me go back to my Rumble. Rumble bumble, rumble bumble. So we're streaming on Rumble, but I was hoping to be able to get it to my Truth account somehow. I mean, it's on there. I have the link. As soon as you click it, I guess I could click link for live stream. Increasing my footprint. X marks the spot. Within a couple of years, X should be gone or taken over by a new person that allows people back in. Enough of the scam. All right. So what they're trying to do is fear me to speak about the sextortion. But it doesn't work as usual. They lie to each other. So they say, all we got to do is this. So what they do is they get them to do a whole bunch of things. And at a certain point, they all look back and go, we committed crimes against this guy. It's a scam to get them in, to get them to say, oh, we personally have to get this guy. So something's come in from some federal agents. I don't know what the location is. It's a psychic blip. So again, take it with a grain of salt, but it sounds legitimate. So I spoke before about them speaking about things to get people to hate you. So one of the first things they used was that I had sex with my kids. Again, I fought that, and it never went to a real court system. Everybody backed out. Nobody wanted to make an official statement because, again, it's false statements. Right? Now, there may have been false statements over the years because millions and millions of dollars have been spent. But it came in, they said, because they were on the other side looking at the bullshit and going, this ain't real. Right? Some agents that are fighting going, what, this is bullshit. It isn't like they're protecting me. I mean, I already have less protection than everybody else in the world because the deep state's trying to kill me. Right? It's just providing some sanity to the whole process, saying, wait a minute, what are you all doing? Right? Again, the deep state got bigger and Brennan got bigger, and then they acted out again. So they said they were there or know of people that are there. And the idea is this. Everything they said was refuted because it wasn't happening. So what I was telling you about, you don't see him at the casinos with women, so this means he's over there having sex with boys and girls or men or something like that. Right. And all the above is what something just said. So they said the only thing we can't disprove, we know you didn't do it, but we can't just out of offhand say, no, he's not having sex with his kids because it's in your house. Everything else we can see, no, that's not happening. So they chose to say your kids because there was no way that we could just look at you and say you're not having, though he goes home and has sex with his kids, like it's actually happening. But this is how much bullshit they are when you have people like Swalwell and other people having sex with all sorts of people and their kids, and even people in the deep state. That's the scam. Once you're in the deep state, you're Swalwell. You can run around and have sex with people, and nobody investigates you until who? Donald Trump and Kash Patel come along. 100%. So this, as I was telling you all those years, that the pedophiles and the people committing the sex crimes, it's allergy. It's the juniper and the cedar. It's killing me. I open my door, just get some air, and let me close the door. I got to turn my air purifier on. If I was outside, I'd be okay. It's just when you're in closed spaces. Get this thing on. There we go. I'm gonna go turn the one on in the back too. So people can commit sex crimes when they're Epstein was part of the deep state. And in fact, Epstein was used by the deep state to dirty people. Like they're trying, it's the craziest thing in the world. Epstein was a Democrat, protected by Democrats. He can engage in child sex crimes because he was that Democrat donor. Although he donated to Republicans, that wasn't his power base, but you know, they may have covered for him. So Swalwell's deep state, he's going to be governor. And what was the key? He was committing sex crimes and nobody said anything. It was actually common knowledge. So what happens is when I stay in a community, where you stay in a community, it becomes common knowledge that you're not. So the reality is they may have said, okay, let's get somebody to kill him. It's no longer, just like they killed my account on X. They can no longer use what's happening on X to say it's something other than I say it is. And I never contacted anybody. So don't let them tell you I contacted anybody. I contacted a trans person once on, like, recently. I mean, years ago, like I told you, I spoke to one because I said, well, this is all the person I could speak to. I'm stuck in the house. I'm not well. And they were big Christians. And the best Christians I ever met. Told me I have faith. They're praying for me. And it worked. I came out of it well. Disabled, but well. I'm trying to make some coffee here. Shows this trans woman, and she's I mean, it's weird. She's a nice person, but she's down on herself. So I'm investigating the algorithms. I'm trying to figure out whether people are in bondage to sex crime. That's why I know Russians are full of shit with the trans. Now maybe they are, but I used to make money off of trans and, regular prostitutes too. Right. You have to study this stuff if you're going to figure it out, or you're not going to figure it out. Right. But she was talking about God. And I was like, oh my God. I was like kind of repaying a favor almost. She said, God hates me. Some Christian in her head, And she was a nice person, okay? I mean, she was in the wrong side of the world doing the wrong things. But again, cops and FBI, they see people like this all the time. Right? Salt of the earth, but they're in porn or something. Right? So I had a chat with her. Because she started talking about God, and God hates me. Because I said, God can hate you, but not for what you're saying. Right. I said, God loves you, and just keep thinking about God. And I try to get people to connect to God so they can get the truth. You can't get truth from your preacher. Preachers try to make money too much. If they pay him $1 million, he'll tell you God hates you. If they pay him probably less than that, probably 10,000, they'll probably tell you God hates you. Well, I'll try to get you to do things where it would prove that God hates you. Right? Been there, seen that. There he goes. Well, you also have to look at what the deep state does around such situations. Like, what do they push you to? What do they block you from? You have to go through the full investigation. Again, I've instructed, I don't know if it ever got out. I don't know if they were blocking me. I instructed government on how to do the investigations several times. So I am on Rumble, I get. Rumble bumble. Definitely here. And click on that again. Yeah, it looks like it's there live. Looks like it's working. I'm working on all that, trying to get that working. Instagram's kind of funky. I don't know. Some of them you have to actually do something. I don't mind on Truth, but you have, or on Rumble, that you have to put the. It's a quick link. It isn't anything crazy. Right? And if they click it, it automatically does something. I'm going to try to get my SoundCloud up. So everything's going to go to SoundCloud audio. I might even actually do a trust fund for that. So when I pass on, it stays going, gets paid for. Start donating money into that, or start putting money into that account. Right. But it was interesting. They came up in the mind and they said, you said something before, about them trying to say that you had sex with your kids, and that's the only thing we couldn't refute from just simply without a real investigation. Right. Oh, but they got Jews. Why? Because they spread their legs for the boss. That's really what it is. You've seen it enough to know that's what it is. And essentially, that woman that's reporting about, that's the point. The person that's reporting about Swalwell, her life was okay until now. You would have to debrief her, and I don't know if you ever want to do that, but it's very important for the security of the United States to brief that woman and ask, did people kind of insinuate that maybe you shouldn't? Where did you get the feeling or idea that you shouldn't report it? What you'll find is the deep state. So her best friend, who's Miss Me Too, when it comes to Trump or someone else, it hinted that she should just let it go. Right. That's what the deep state does. In fact, there could have been 2 or 3 other women that were deep state. They're like, okay, yeah, now I'm a millionaire. That's fine. I'll have sex with Swalwell for $1 million. That's what they do. They enrich them. People who make complaints about the person, they tell them to make complaints about, eventually they're a millionaire. Like, that's why I tell people, they go, oh, I can't figure out how to make $1 million. You can't, because they won't let you. Otherwise, you just come to you and sit on your head all day. Right? Go have sex with Swalwell. You'll get some money. Or the other people that Cash has got cases on. That one's not going to be a federal case, I guess, unless they can develop something, like they were, somebody was on her. Yeah, it's all encompassing. They block me from women. Anybody's in a deep state, they throw women, rich women and rich family women at them. That's how they do it. Right. Well, if the woman doesn't marry the guy they tell them to marry, if that's where the deep state wants, then the woman doesn't get a guy. And then she gets made into a man trans. That's really what they do, man. Right. Everywhere she goes, she'll be inundated with the idea to be a man trans or a trans man. But you have to go, me too. Same people. Right. So again, they have to have a supremacist mindset, or they have to be able to put them into that. And they couldn't do that to me. Let them eat cake, we'll have sex. Right. So again, that's part of that sextortion setup. In fact, remember she said, this is another one, investigative, possible clue. She says, I was finding ways to blame myself. She wasn't finding ways to blame herself. She was being operated to blame herself. Whereas any loony bin person that will blame some innocent person is being inundated to actually make a complaint about something that never happened. They tried to get my wife to do it, and I was not even worried. My kids, you can't get my kids. Now I'm going to say everything I say is the truth because it was a very rough situation, but I doubt you can get my kids to say we had sexual things when we did, like repressed memory bullshit. Some repressed memory is real because I went through some of it, but again, no tool's corrupt, even if it's a corrupt tool, because if the agent and the officer aren't corrupt, they won't do it. Right. So it's actually the person that's corrupt. They try to put it on the system. Oh, the system's corrupt. Well, the system was corrupt. I wouldn't be here doing this. Right. No, I had no worries about my kids at all. I know they were mad and they would probably say selfish things about me and probably did, but as far as sex, they'd be like, ooh. Gross. So the problem is DHS, and DHS itself could be compromised, where it's more difficult to compromise spycraft security or counter security, counter spycraft security, at DHS, in reference to DHS, than it is at DNI. Now, DNI should have that presence, but if they could actually just go, oh, something else came up. Because that's what they did probably with me. They were supposed to be watching, supposed to be, making sure people don't do this to me. And they go, oh, well, we had to do this case. And, I psychically know what happened. The scams they used. Because officers are transmitted. They can't do anything about it, but they can send me thoughts. Right. It's in scripture. It's in metaphysical manuals, even in some psychological manuals. And husbands and wives will speak about that psychic connection. We're married to the yob. Now, I was looking for a woman that was it, and it's an honest look, and they know it. And that's what came up, all that stuff that they went back and looked at and said, well, he's just looking for a wife and was quite desperate because you made him desperate. Right. I didn't want to be in this position. They wanted it. They'll go to hell for it. That's not easy. It's not hard to figure out what the scriptures actually say. I don't care for Elon Musk. You know what? Elon Musk has got so much on this planet, he'll go to the worst hell if he's part of it. So as I told you all these years, Me Too is fake. It has nothing to do with sex crime. It has to do with a scam about sex. It's owning the idea of who's a sex criminal and who isn't, regardless of the truth. Actually counter the truth, because the goal is to get their people free from that onus. So what they try to say is, oh, we're consenting adults, as if I'm having sex with kids. This is really what they do. So they say, well, he's saying you want to have sex, and there's proof that you all had some time in each other's houses while you're doing this to him, which everybody knows. If they're trying to turn me on and then block me from consortium with a woman and then start doing all this crazy stuff around me, we know exactly what it is. Right? But there's also proof while they're trying to turn me on, they get turned on. And they go off and have sex together. Agents, officers, private investigators, members of the community. Right. So their answer was, but we're consenting adults. It makes no freaking sense. Right. The upper bosses wouldn't let anything be done. But again, they were put on notice. And then they went out and found other corrupt cops to do it. The deep state did. Oh, it's easy. Your phones were together that night. And then your phone separated in the morning after you had sex with Swalwell, agent. There's your phones with Larry at the massage session. Oh, there they go. They're leaving. Oh, there goes Larry home. Not to the club. Not stalking people like you're willing because he knew what you were willing. And if he didn't know what you were willing, he still wouldn't have done it. Right. But there's your phone and the other agent's phone. Yeah. Well, what made you so horny, agent? Touch it on Larry. All right. That's the reality, man. That's the reality. Even members of the community, even members of the community massage people. There goes our phone. Driving down the road. They're getting closer. One phone's on top of the other. This would be great in an interview room, you know. This is my interview room. This is the truth, man. Bunch of sluts. Bunch of sluts in the FBI. But everybody else's sex is dirty. Theirs is clean. Except for the 5 virgins. They always have the 5 virgins. I don't know if there's 5 virgins left. They may actually just be acting like they're virgins now. They used to have 5 virgins. Oh, I'm still virgin. All FBI agents? Yes, I believe all FBI agents are virgins. So when that fails, consenting adults. So again, that should help you understand what they're doing. So there's no way actually to beat it unless law enforcement does their job. That's where it was failed. But I'm sure Cash knew what Swalwell was up to. Right. How it moved, I don't know. Oh, there's that woman. Yeah, they put that woman in play. She's helping them. Right. It's not political at that point. Right. And then they got the living. I don't know if the video of the hotel scene or whatever. It doesn't even look like a hotel. I mean, he might go to seedy hotels, but I'd see him probably in something nicer. Right. It's pretty seedy there. Unless it's somebody's apartment or something. He's smoking a doober or something. I'll be next, smoking doobers. We're smoking doobers with the women. And again, we have to understand the sensitivity of the time period. They weren't that sensitive back when Epstein was here. Like when Lutnick went to see, it wasn't a big deal. Right? It just wasn't. If it was, and to begin with, Lutnick would think, well, Elon's like probably a same thing, you know. It's what's his name, but but if Lutnick probably thought it was a big deal, he'd be in prison for a while, right? And it wasn't as big a deal as it is now. Again, all the knowledge they didn't have all. In other words, the government didn't protect Lutnick from the couple instances when he was around him, right? Epstein, for sure. I agree there. But what they do is they look for a way to fashion the argument so it only touches a Republican. Well, because, I mean, it's obvious that Epstein is a Democrat, was protected by Democrats. And the only reason he could do that for so many years is Democrats. Right? Not that they were really investigating it all that much. Thank you, Larry. So the party that all that time was talking about, putting it in the Department of Education if they could. What do they call that? MAPS, minor attracted persons. They want to convince me that that's what I am. I mean, they try everything because they have to put the guilt in your mind. It's a metaphysic. Once you have the guilt in your mind, that's why this is now happening at such a fast rate, because she had guilt in her mind that it was her fault, because that's what the deep state does. The system sees it as her fault. But once she says, wait a minute, it wasn't my fault, then it starts moving the other direction. Right. That's why it's stupid to keep bothering me, because the system revisits it. Right. Okay. Well, actually, they create, how they create false repressed memories? They actually create the same thing in the victim that they're bringing up false repressed memories about. They have memory. They start having memories of themselves that are false, right? Or at least, what do they call that? Self-image that's false, right? That's what they work on. That's what they're working on right now. Be great for an Elon-free world. Unless I get my archive. How's that going to happen? You go to prison. They'll shut him down. You're the crooks. Don't act like I'm the crook. You're the one that kills people, X, Elon, and all the fake security people. Right? Don't try to put that on me. You're the one that are the murderers, the sex fiends, and cover up for the sex fiend who's probably worse than Swalwell. That's how we'll go to prison. Right. Playing that game, they hacked the app so I couldn't see what the complaint was. Right. And of course, their people were stalking me, people they put into me to make complaints. And you've got Alex Jones on your site. Right. And that wasn't for saying food. That never came up. Because the timing. Right. And of course, I hadn't said that in a while. Because they're attacking me and there's a lot of billionaires involved, the multimillionaires, what I perceive is the Democrats will win at a certain point. Not my fault. You all decided to do it or let them do it. Because that's where the paybacks will come from. Right. Again, there's a part of this that it's Democrats. I realize that. But again, God will move it in a certain way. And most likely the easiest way to get to that point, and you'll all get taxed, believe me. But I don't think it's going to be Prickster. And it won't be Newsom. If you put Prickster and Newsom out there, I think people will say hell no. Well, at this point, the Republican Party is not really backing Trump. So don't try to put that on me. Well, because I'm not backing anybody in the Republican Party that's doing this. Right. Trump's finished in what, a few years. He ain't got nothing to worry about. Right. It's going to be like Biden. He's just too old. Right. Like I even said that last time. No, the system works like the key is you're trying to put something out there that's bullshit. You're responsible, Elon. X is responsible. All the Republicans and Democrats with him are responsible. I don't believe it's Donald Trump. So at a point when Donald Trump will no longer lose from whatever it is, you'll all pay. And that's most likely by the 2028 election. I don't think it's going to be Newsom. I don't think it's, and again, Cash is investigating, other people investigating. I don't believe it's going to be Newsom. I don't believe it's going to be Pritzker. There's going to have to be somebody like, who's that guy down in Texas? The judge from Dallas. I don't remember, Jenkins or something. Jenkins, right? Clay Lewis Jenkins. Somebody like him could make it. I haven't looked at him lately, so if he's done something stupid, then I lived there, I looked at him. Well, I think people are going to want a Democrat that's not crazy. He may be, I mean, everybody jumping on the immigrant wagon, so I don't know. He may have gone over on that. I don't know if he did or didn't. Well, they want a level head. Pretty much right now what's forming is they want a level-headed Democrat, which, you know, might be a Republican elected because I don't know if there's any there out there. Right. So Jenkins used to be pretty level-headed. I don't know if he bought into some of that bullshit. He's like an old, what you would call an old Democrat, but, you know, not a bad way. A yellow dog or whatever. Oh, we're about the same age, too. You fare a little bit better now, dude. Thanks, sir. That's really where the Democrats Party should go. If you're what I think you call it yellow dog, people would, you know, say, okay. Well, because it's not progressive, it's stupid. You know, anything that's stupid, they call progressive, like it's the end thing. Oh, maybe it's not. Oh, no, there's a. Maybe I'm wrong. It's not yellow dog. Blue dog, maybe. It's probably blue dog. Blue dog. Yeah, blue dog. That's it. Blue dog. Right. They're looking for a blue dog. Not too many out there on a national platform. But see, that's how to get your vote without having to embrace all the bullshit that pisses people off. Right. Believe me, a blue dog Democrat as president benefits Donald Trump if it's not a Republican. Even in Republicans, you got some of them are bullshit. Stuff they're saying. they're trying to go, oh, he's trying to get a Democrat in there. No, Democrats probably going to get in there with what you're all doing. Right. You're all taking money. Democrats will put money out there, and the Republicans will take it and piss everyone off and do what they want, Right. They'll have some former Republican, not former Republican, but, an old-time Republican or something come in, a lobbyist, say, why don't we do this? But here, the Democrat paid them to do it. And then the Republicans go, yeah, we like that money. We'll do it. Just like doing me. Well, you're nothing but hurt any Republican that did it. Trying to do some sweeping here. Cleaning house. So the whole time I'm listening to Mullen. That's fine, I'm not criticizing Mullen. I'm just telling you the energies around it. Right. So they're like, well, only if Christie was like this. And I'm thinking, Christie did the same exact video just about 3 months ago. But see, the average person will go, yeah, if Christie wasn't like she was and did a video like this, when she actually did. Right. One of anybody went in to shake Mullen's hand, introduce himself, and going, well, we're glad you're here. Christie was horrible. That's usually what the deep state does. Your record's impeccable there, Mr. Mullen. Remember, Mullen worked around toilets, so he knows about shit. He knows when he sees shit. That was one of the things when I was talking about the Sinai. So before we're going to leave the Sinai, we don't generally learn the trades. We learn the trades as we need to. So they decided that they would OJT us. I was at Fort Campbell in the springtime, which is kind of humid, getting warm, and I had to go with a guy that was a plumber. And it's a shitty job, but somebody got to do it. And we did the housing units, and some of the other buildings, but mostly the housing units, mostly, stuck toilets and stuff. So I was like young private, before I went to the Sinai. I meet the guy in the morning. I guess we got a ride over. I can't remember. Probably got a ride over. And we meet the guy. I meet the guy. He's an older guy. He probably passed a while about, but he's a country kind of guy. And his wife, he got a good wife. She'd make him sausage sandwiches and like little sausage biscuit sandwiches. And boy, he had that whole break time thing down. We always have to have that 15-minute break with the sausage sandwich, sausage egg or something like that. But he was a good guy, and he showed me a couple of little fish sweat in the pipe and all that. We never had to use that. We had a different system. We didn't use that kind of pipe. I think we used PVC. What much that we did. We had to do. We had to change the showers at the outpost, and that's when we were taking a shower. Was it a guard shack or a shower? I can't remember. It was either the top of a guard shack on a trailer or one of those shower booths on a trailer. I can't remember which one it was. It was after the guy was pushed off of the boat, the ship, and Sergeant Lee and I was driving out. I had an AR with me, and Sergeant Lee and I were driving out to the outpost, and a guy's walking out of the desert, and I swear he looked like Carlos, the terrorist. And it could have been. People say it could have been. We don't know what he was up to. And we were big. We were pretty big target. Right? And prior to that, we weren't carrying firearms, so we were easy targets. Right? But I had an AR, locked and loaded. And Sergeant Lee goes, "Hold on." You know, back then it had the carburetor. All 4 barrels of that 360 kicking in. We don't want none of that. We out of here. Nah, he'd have been all right. I mean, an Egyptian would stop if he needed something. Egyptians do travel that road. Right. It was I think, main road, north south, and it goes to Sharm el Sheikh south. We were going north to an outpost to drop whatever we had. Right. Well, it wasn't a regular shot. It wasn't like they had water at the outpost. They had like a bag or something that hooked up to it. Or actually, I think some of them had a small water tower or something. I can't remember completely how they did it. So then we dropped that, went back. I can't remember if we were. I don't think we. He must have reported it. I don't remember saying anything, so he must have reported. Sergeant Lee must have reported it. Right. No, he wasn't a white KKK guy. It was a black guy who drank. What is that stuff? Hennessy. My squad leader. Nice guy. He was one of the Germany guys. Yeah, just like that guy was with his sausage sandwiches, they were with their liquor, you know. But he wasn't drinking on duty, but he'd do it after. And pretty steady. But again, that's one of the troubles they had with Germany is they developed a lot of alcoholics. Oh, wait, I'm still on Spycraft 101, which I guess is probably pertinent. Drinking problems can be created by these people. Now, I have rules about drinking, so they couldn't get me. I actually drank more, but it was necessary. Again, stopping drinking probably wasn't healthy for me because I needed that relaxation because of what they were doing. Right. Thank you, Mary. But they will cause alcohol. And that's why I said the one guy that I gotta say, boy, because he's a young man, right? The guy committed suicide. He was a deep state victim before Trump took over. Most likely. That's why when something happens with him, it hits the national news and explodes. You say, and well, you don't want that guy, right? He's causing trouble for you. If they could have got me on drugs in the Marshal Service, they would have. Believe me. And they tried. The only thing I got to was like big bottles of wine, and I drink a couple glasses at night, and that was it. Couldn't get me past that. And maybe I go to the bar and get a little bit, but not that. And I'm also one of those guys that sobers up and all that before they go driving. Did that in Naples. I used to walk with a bottle of water before I got in the car. You take like a half-hour walk drinking water. Urinate a couple times. Not that I drank all that much. Now, I wouldn't even get on the main road. I'm just really careful. Took the back way. Bought a golf club. Now, you're less likely to have trouble at 20 mile, 20, 25, maybe 30 at the most than you would at 40 to 50. Yeah, I never got on the Tamiami Trail if I drank anything. Now, I was really known in Naples by certain people. There was no protection for me. They didn't. Some people didn't know, but a lot of people knew what was going on and nothing they could do. Right. No, if it wasn't for the deep state, somebody would gave me money, just gave me money. Be part of my company and we hang out. And I'm a magic man. I mean, it was obvious. Right. But when somebody's paying $1 million to kill the magic man, they say, sure. Who was paying narcos and sex traffickers and all that kind of thing. Sheriff's Department, the narcos and sex traffickers. That dude Lonnie got in trouble. He's probably part of it. When you get in trouble, I know you're probably part of it. The detective. I forgot what he did. He did something corrupt. Right. I tell him, see, stay away from me, and that won't happen. Oh, people get away with it. That's why the scriptures speak about hell. Right. I'm kind of off of Spycraft 101 here. But stay peaceful. Praise God in all that you do. Praise God.